So your dream job is to create video games. Your tech-savvy friends tell you you are going to need a game engine. So what is a game engine and how do you pick one? Find out on this episode of Game Dev Daddy Tips. What is a game engine? Like a photo editor, which is used to create and manipulate images, a game engine is a software tool or editor to develop games in. Game engines help you make games. They render graphics to the screen, detect collisions, provide physics calculations, and many more features. The first large-scale game engine that was released and licensed was id Tech 1, developed mostly by John Carmack. The engine was used to develop Doom and licensed to other companies to create games like Heretic and Strife. To be clear, I will not be ranking game engines in some top 10 list.
Number 10.
No! This video is to help pick the engine that is right for you. There are literally hundreds of different game engines out there, so how do you pick the right one?
Simply build your own engine, create your own programming language, relearn linear algebra, attach a torture device to your testicle.
Hey, my daughter might be nearby.
Calm down, she's probably outside playing.
Creating your own game engine is certainly a possibility. To build something from the ground up can be very rewarding. Plus, you'll have complete control over every feature you implement. If that's something you want, then by all means, go for it.
May I refresh your memory?
Now, if you're thinking of building your own game engine, don't do it. Okay. People in my situation with a full-time job and family most likely won't have the hours to pour into developing a game engine. When you have limited time, you need to decide what you want to do. Build a game engine or make games. Even if you try to create your own engine and it doesn't work out, it will be a wealth of knowledge and experience. If you decide to use a pre-existing game engine, you'll need to narrow down that list. Before we begin some tips, if you find this video somewhat insightful, consider clicking the like button down below. Here is my list of helpful pointers when picking your game engine. What kind of games are you interested in creating? Do you plan to make VR games for Steam and Oculus? Perhaps you want to develop mobile games, PC games, and console games. Start by researching game engines for the type of game you want to make. Some engines are better at certain games than others. If you solely want to focus on creating 2D top-down RPGs, RPG Maker could be the perfect fit for you. If you plan to make other 2D games besides RPGs, perhaps you might like Game Maker Studio or Godot.
It's Godot. GoDiddy, GQdot.
Some game engines only support exporting to PC, while others can export to any mobile device, computer, or console out there. Narrow down your list based on the type of games you wish to make, and for what systems. Once you got an initial filtered list, research the games you enjoy playing or games similar to the one you want to develop, and find out what game engine they use. Usually a simple Google search of the game and game engine used will be enough. Wikipedia will sometimes list the game engine used as well. The games you find will range in quality, especially for the more popular game engines. In most cases, bad games are usually not a reflection of the engine. It's just a side effect of an engine being popular. Remember, a game engine is only as good as the developers using it. Price can be a big factor for some, and engines can range in cost. Want a free option? Open source engines are perfect for keeping expenses down and includes the bonus of access to the source code. Happen to find a bug in the engine? Fix it yourself and help contribute to the engine and the community. The bigger, feature-filled, and more popular game engines might cost you some money and will probably affect income. One price model is a percentage of your gross revenue. For example, as of this recording, Epic, the developers of the popular Unreal Engine, require 5% of all gross revenue once you make $1 million on your game. This is before Apple or Steam or any other distribution platform take their cut. If you sell your game on the Apple Store for $20, Apple will take a 30% cut as a distribution fee, $6. 20 minus 6 equals $14.
Showing basic math. How exciting.
Fine, I'll move on. Another payment option is a subscription fee. Unity, another popular game engine, is based on a monthly fee. If you don't mind a Unity logo when your game first loads, and your revenue is less than $100,000, you can get away with a free version. If you make more than $100,000 or just want to remove the Unity logo, that will cost you $40 per month for the Plus version.
Don't forget, you also get the dark theme when you pay for Unity.
How could I forget the dark theme for the editor? If your game is mildly successful and your revenue is greater than $200,000, you will need a Pro subscription at $150 per month. For Unity, paid plans are for 12 months.
And you cannot cancel the subscription before the 12 months.
If we compare these particular engines to price options, some pricing is unique, but overall, they are both fairly comparable. Keep in mind, there may be some built-in features in one engine that will require you purchasing an asset for the same feature in another engine. When you start using a game engine, most likely you're going to need help at some point. This is where the more popular engines gain an advantage. When you're stuck and you search Google for help,
I do my searches on the dark web with my dark theme using AOL.
When you search your problem, you'll want a solution quickly. You don't want to spend hours trying to find help. A foolproof way to gauge community support is to find the forums for each game engine. Are they active? How recent are the posts? YouTube is also a wonderful source when starting out. YouTube has tons of passionate people offering tutorials to any game engine you choose. Learning an engine with plenty of support is another key to becoming a successful developer. If you are going to be the sole developer for your project, assets will be the key to your success. Models, sound effects, shaders, animation. Anything you won't be able to create yourself, you're going to need to purchase. I know some of you out there are thinking, I can do it all. I'll create all the models, animations, environments, coding, sound effects, music. And the areas you don't know, you'll watch a ton of videos and learn how to do it. Ask yourself, how much is my time worth? $10 per hour, $30 per hour. How long will it take you to learn Blender and model all those characters you want in your game?
Let's see. Divide by pi, carry the 1. Forever.
Instead of spending 2 months to create a feature, spend the $20 on an asset that someone else has already created and refined.
Start blowing it down. Looking good. Keep coming.
Whoa. Is everyone okay?
In one piece.
Oh, that's good.
Ow.
Check out each engine's asset store and try searching on things you might need for your project. I'm probably going to need some models with animations for my project. I am not great at creating models, and I'm even worse at animating them. Directly importing a pre-made asset can be a huge time saver. Not the language you speak, but the programming language you develop games with. If you have no experience with programming, this may not be a big factor for you. Learning a programming language has its own challenges. Luckily, some engines have visual scripting tools which don't require knowledge of hardcore programming. For example, Unreal has a built-in tool called Blueprints. Game Maker Studio and Godot,
Go Dot!
both have built-in visual scripting tools. Unity recently purchased the Bolt visual scripting package. Plus, Unity has other third-party packages available like Playmaker and Unode. In some cases, there may be a point where a visual scripting tool isn't capable of what you need to get done. That's when you'll need to learn to code. I would highly recommend a C-type language since it's used in multiple fields. These include C, C++, C#, JavaScript, and Python. Some engines have their own proprietary language. For example, Godot's main language is GDQuest, which is somewhat similar to Python. However, if you're already familiar with a particular language, an engine that uses that language natively might be a possible choice for you. The best, hands-down way to pick an engine is to use it. Come up with a super simple project and try to build it in a few days with each engine you're interested in. Another way to test drive engines? Watch videos online on how to start using them. Is what you're seeing intuitive and gives you warm fuzzies? You might have found the engine you're looking for. Even with all these tips, the perfect game engine will not exist. Perhaps if you build your own, but every game engine out there will have its own nuances and probably a few frustrations along the way. Do as much as you can by narrowing down that huge list of engines. Decide what kind of games you want to create. Research some of the games created with those engines. What price are you willing to pay, and do you want access to the source code? A good community can be a lifesaver when learning a new tool. If you can't do it all yourself, a good asset store will keep things from ballooning out of control. Research which game engine language or scripting language you are willing to learn. Lastly, try out a few engines or watch videos to see which one just feels right for you. To wrap things up, the single most important thing you can do is start. Start researching. If your dream is to make games, don't wait. It's never been easier to make that dream a reality. If you liked this video, click the like button and perhaps share this video with your friends.
And your evil friends?
Yes, evil friends too. Now go and dev. The bigger feature filled. It's filled. One price model is a %. It would really help if I was in frame. Do you plan to make VR games for Steam? For example, Unreal has a built-in tool called Blueprints. Blueprints. Do you plan to make VR games for Ream and... Ream. How many times can I f this up?